Dude, what's wrong with your face?
What do you mean what's wrong with my face?
It's all messed up.
Well, we know that.
Where have you been?
But over there, rendering.
20 minutes later.
Oh, right, you're back. Cool, because I had a question.
A little longer than a few minutes later. Several days later.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Hi guys, welcome to another Overbite review, and today we are reviewing Come Deliverance by Warhorse Studios that we just looked up.
We totally knew who it was.
Yes, totally.
It's a game that I wanted to review, but you didn't.
Yes, pretty much.
Because it's an RPG and I like RPGs, simple as that.
I like RPGs too, but not necessarily all of them.
No, it will become very apparent shortly. So, I love RPGs, and I did see this one coming along. I think it was initially a Kickstarter type situation,
yeah, I believe
wasn't
that
it?
was the case, yeah.
And this is a first game from Warhorse Studios, and I had a lot of hope for it, seeing some of the trailers at the end of last year, finally.
Somewhere around there. I wasn't really aware of it until you said, let's review it.
Yeah, but I liked the fact that it looked like a nice, big, fat, get your teeth into RPG, and what we ended up with for the review is a game that we're going to talk about now. So, in terms of general feelings about the game, before going into specifics, how did you find it?
I think they've done a remarkable job for a small studio to come up with a game that's so focused on the realism of living in like Bohemia in that time, but I think they've lost sight of it's a game and it needs to be fun.
Yeah, I agree with you to some point. What I will say is this game has got a lot of aspects to it that you have maybe been spoilt in previous games, because now you have to do all of those things. So when you have to look after your sleeping, your eating, your washing, your clothing, your conspicuousness in certain areas of the world, whether you're in towns or if you're out in the forest. You also have to, if you want to brew potions, you have to be able to read, and the actual mechanic of learning to read is directly impacting you being able to read instructions on recipes and putting stuff together. All of these things come together and make an RPG experience that I think the intention was a fantastic one. But sadly, the actual execution of it has meant that some of these things feel janky, they don't feel quite right, they feel a bit off. Namely, the combat.
Yes, the combat works in very similar fashion to one of your favourite games.
For Honour.
There you go.
Used to be favourite games.
I could totally remember the name of that one. But yeah, you basically pick a direction to block from or to strike at, and you try and
parry,
and you try and feint to catch them off guard. And you generally find your fights in this game will either go of two ways. You'll just murder the guy straight up, no problem, or you'll spend your life parrying and counter parrying until someone makes an error.
And I will say one thing that I haven't discussed with you yet, which is I think this game is made for a controller, not a mouse and keyboard.
I had that same thought because, like, with the directions,
the combat feels very controller heavy.
Yeah.
All of the controls that you have for when you're riding a horse, or you're having a combat sort of situation with somebody, or selections of dialogue in those bits. All of those things feel very controller-centric.
Yeah, there were actually points where I was trying to select an option from dialogue with my mouse, and it was just not having it. I had to use keyboard.
Scroll wheel.
No chance.
It was kind of strange, but the nice thing is that you do everything in game. So it's more common these days because we've got the power to actually do it on a computer or a console. But if you're walking around and you look down, you can see your whole body and feet walking about. It's a hangover for me from older games where you'd look down and there'd be literally nothing, and you'd be like, okay, well, where am I? This is insane. But having those feet walking around in the real world kind of gives me a little bit more immersion. And I will say straight up, the world in this game looks fucking beautiful.
If you give it enough time to pop in.
Yeah, there is that issue. But when it has popped in, and you're stood in the middle of a forest. It looks like a forest looks like. That is a sentence, I promise you.
Yes.
It is so accurate. The terrain, the way bits are fallen away, the distribution of bushes and plants not being like some homogeneous green lump. It feels alive and real. I don't know how much they've modelled it on a forest, or rendered it, or got some funky engine going on, but it looks amazing.
It's a good looking game. I would say though, for all its good looks and the storyline to some extent, because I do enjoy when you get the sort of cutscenes and you sort of work towards getting those, and it sort of renews my interest a little bit. But then you're just back to the same sort of slog. I just don't find the core gameplay to be fun.
No, it does feel a bit sloggy. Missions, although they are very varied and they're not just the same thing over and over again, I didn't find too much repetition.
No, you do get sort of pushed from the beginning to say like, oh, well, you can handle sort of all this shit in different ways. So you put points into your speech or your charisma and stuff like that. You think, okay, I'm trying to talk or seduce my way out of stuff. And then it throws you in situations where you have to fight. And of course, because you've lumped all those points in your speech, you're shit at fighting.
Yeah, but at the same breath of that, you are in a world where fighting is a real thing, and they're going for the immersion and the realism, and that's how it goes down. I mean, the story of the game is good. We both agree that is kind of an attractive part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should go into that.
Yeah, but the story, it's got a lovely sort of prologue of you running about town.
Doing chores.
You are a blacksmith's son, and you are helping your dad make a sword for the resident kind of lord.
Throwing poo at people's houses.
Exactly, which I didn't do. That was a choice. I didn't throw poo. I had the high moral guidance of being the good guy.
I threw poo.
Yeah. So I ended up basically going to try and get bits back and threaten people, have a fight. It just brings you into the mechanics quite nicely. And for that, I give them kudos and credit. That was a nice way to bring you into the world, because I did care about that village.
Yeah, but I mean, in the same instance, one of the chores you have to do, or don't have to do, but one of the chores you can do is go and receive some sword training. So you go and receive your sword training. Okay, get it. Right, gotcha. And then about 7 hours later in the game, you get another sword tutorial.
In case you didn't do it, because it was an optional.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, it's not even a full tutorial, the first one. It doesn't teach you about like feints or sidestepping. It's just like, this is how you hit people.
No, it was character development, you see. But the way the story kind of opens out very quickly does feel a bit daunting. You, in terms of an RPG, you normally have that kind of gated progression where you kind of, here's a new area, you need to do this, but you can't get there yet. There's lots of that kind of thing happens in RPGs. And in this game, it kind of just goes, that's the world.
Have fun, bye.
Yeah, and I didn't like the fast travel. You did.
I did, yeah. I liked it. I thought it cute. It would basically go back to a map where you're represented by this little figure and you would sort of get walked by an invisible hand, sort of.
But it meant that you would open up and identify areas you had not seen and explored yourself. So if you had to go to a point that was the other side of a town that you hadn't been through yet, your character, this little map figure, would go through the town, open up and say, I've discovered a grocer, I've discovered whatever's in the town. But you haven't been there, but you have.
Yeah, you have.
So it kind of felt like a bit cheated. I wanted to open that up myself and say, like, I've been there, I know what's there, I've seen it. It felt a bit off.
Yeah. I didn't really have a problem with that. I was fine with it, like finding things for me, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of grocers.
And there is a lot of kind of cotton candy clouds covering up everything.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice, but they only disappear when you go back into the map the next time. There are secrets to be found. Exploration is rewarded, but not to a great degree. So it does feel kind of linear and a bit empty on the fringes. I enjoyed my time with it, but it wasn't a game that I was chomping at the bit to play.
No, I found it a real chore to play, personally. It was just taking, like, doing busy work to the nth degree. Like, you have to feed yourself and wash yourself and make sure you get enough sleep at bedtime and shit like this. It just felt like I was just taking care of this guy rather than actually going out and being a proactive character. It just felt I just need to have a bath now. It's time for bath time.
I mean, I will say out of the gate here, I have not completed this game. I do not know how the story ends. I will be continuing to play it, but I've sunk about 20 to 30 hours into the game, so that gives me an idea of what's involved in this game, because as a studio's first outing, I don't expect it to be much more than probably about 40 hours of slow-paced gameplay.
Yeah, I've heard it's like 40 or 50, but it obviously will vary with doing side quests and stuff like that, and how much you want to progress your character doing side activities such as the alchemy and what have you.
Yeah, there is plenty to do. I dislike the bow and arrow. I love bow and arrows in RPG games. It makes you feel like a proper, like, stealthy ninja dude, right? Even though it's not ninja-based gameplay. But I will say that why on earth do you have an aiming reticule for your sword, but not for your bow and arrow? I don't get that. There's no way to aim with a bow and arrow in this game.
No, and even when you think you've got it, you'll release it to sort of the bow, and you'll just be like, oh, at the last second, and you completely miss anyway.
Yeah, it's not appreciated, Warhorse. It's really not.
It's just like making it artificially difficult, because you're taking away the sight to say, okay, it's going to be realistic, you're going to have to rely on your own skill. But then saying, well, we can't rely on your own skill, your character's unskilled at it, so we're going to make him wobble about all over the place as well.
Yeah, and I have come up against some bandits that were far too advanced for me, and it kind of almost broke the game, because I was almost stuck in a save point, which created a huge amount of controversy in my own brain of whether I wanted to continue playing or not. But the thing is, the game is beautiful, and I have spent more of my time walking around the forest admiring that and trying to shoot rabbits than I have actually played the game.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time being stuck at the bottom of ladders.
Yes, the ladder glitch, that is all over the place.
Yeah, so you'll climb down a ladder, be like, oh, there's nothing down here, go back up, and there will be no key prompt to go back up the ladder.
No, and you'll see it flicker when you cross over something. I've seen that as well.
It took me like 5 minutes of just arsing around with this ladder to actually get back up the damn thing.
And the inventory screens, they suck.
Yeah.
They are really, really bad. You have a system where you can see all your stuff and basic stats on them, but you have to have an additional screen to see any decent stats on them. You can't compare them to other stuff in your inventory, and it is difficult to work out what you've got and what you can carry and what you can use without having to go into another level of detail. And unfortunately, I found the over-encumbrance would happen very often, because I am one of those people that does pick up everything. I get that. RPGs, I'll just take everything in your house.
You just hoover everything up.
Yeah. But the problem is that with a full set of armour on, to give you yourself protection in case you do get jumped mid travel back to your house, unfortunately, you can only carry about 20 things, it feels like, because your encumbrance is not taken away, so when you're wearing stuff, it counts towards your encumbrance. So I'm kind of used to that being the case where if you wear it, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it's another example of them leaning towards accuracy rather than sort of gaming tradition.
Yeah, and so I found myself kind of, inventory management was a bit of a chore in this game, whereas it should be a fun thing, part of an RPG.
Yeah, even the trading, it's just, they've gone so in depth that it's like, you want to haggle, or you get another chance to haggle this perk. It's just like, I just want to sell my shit and move on.
Yeah, haggling is kind of bizarre because you just go halfway. I haven't really been able to do anything decent with haggling. Apart from being told off and then try again, and they cut the price they're going to give me the first time.
Yeah, I've actually offered him more than he was asking for.
Yeah, I've done that.
And he's gone, nah, well, you care choking? No. I was like, fair enough.
So haggling doesn't really work at the early stages of the game, at least.
No.
And the perks are the other thing you get during the game, like you were just mentioning there. So the perks for me are quite binary. You didn't really get too many things where you had, okay, you can do better sometimes with this thing. It'll either be for sleeping, for example, there's a perk where you can sleep on crap beds and get better nourishment or better energy for that compared to a well-made bed or a posh bed. So you can do it either way. So it's very binary what you choose as a perk. You can't have one without the other. I don't know if you can switch them on the fly.
I think you can respec them. I'm not sure it costs you anything though.
Yeah, but it just seemed to be forcing you down one road or the other. Are you going to be a schmuck or a noble? It'd be that'll be it.
Well, and like you have to make these choices at the start of the game as well. So
Yes.
you're like, oh, well, I don't know yet.
Yeah, there's certain bits that they thrust you into. The horse mechanics of riding a horse. Riding a horse, they are really
I
janky.
found the gear stick.
That's his penis, Lee. No, the riding the horse, I kind of like it, but it just felt too removed. You had digital controls on a keyboard anyway. Digital controls to control your horse. So you forward, left, right, back, and then you have to hold down shift to gallop, to canter away, and then you have to double tap shift to then gallop, and it was a bit of a mess, to be honest. In addition to looking around with your mouse and maybe firing arrows.
Yeah, I just didn't feel the horse controls were that great. I mean, when you have something like The Witcher out there that does horse controls right, this just seemed to be almost like one of those horses that you put between your legs, those ones.
Hobby horse.
Hobby horse. It almost felt like a hobby horse. I just had a hobby horse in front of me and I was just walking about with it.
One other thing I did like as well, visually, was when you get a helmet that's got a visor and you go into combat, he literally goes ka-chunk and pulls it down. So you get this bit of shade on top of your view and covering over the bottom half, so you actually have a bit of a letterbox.
Yeah,
I did like
annoying.
that. I did like that because it would be. There's so many times you don't realise you're in battle mode in these games, but obviously if you have a fucking helmet in front of your face,
the music changes.
No, but when you can walk around town like that and go, "Oh my god, he's got a sword," as does everyone in this medieval time.
That did happen to me. I had a sword and shield equipped, and I did some training. And for some reason, I unequipped my sword, but not my shield. I was wandering around, and they're going, "I'll put your weapons away, mate. We don't like that round here." And I'm like, "What? I haven't got a sword. What are you talking about?" And then I realised I had my shield in the other arm, and it just unequipped my sword. So I was ready to punch. He was
pretending.
I was going to punch him. And
there's some good things about this game though. I mean, they take as a first effort, good. Not at this price point though.
Yeah, I think we both agree that a full price release is a bit ambitious for this game.
This could have been an amazing game, I think, but some of the control choices and I don't know, general inventory and screen menu type stuff really takes you out of it.
I kind of feel it's like one of these circumstances where these guys needed to go under the wing of a big publisher, so the publisher can say to them, "Look, it's all very well and good, you're doing all this sort of authenticness, but you need to consider what the player wants as well."
We both know publishers don't do that.
Well, if they want to sell, so they will strong arm their studios.
I would never wish that on anyone, to have a publisher telling them what to do.
Okay, maybe not a publisher, but someone with more experience in the gaming industry to say it's all very good to do this, but people won't like having to do that.
Yeah, I think the problem here is the fact that they have some amazing parts to this game. The visuals are stunning, the sound design and kind of, when you're walking your horse through water on wood and stuff like that, they've paid attention to that. The environment of the world looks great when it pops in, and the pop in is fucking terrible. It really isn't optimised very well for a PC. I don't know what it's like on consoles, even if it is on consoles.
I don't think so.
But if on PC it feels really janky. I didn't really see anything above I had to cut down the graphical options to play at a decent frame rate.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to touch mine. Our rigs are quite similar in some respect. He has a bit more memory and I have a slightly faster CPU, but apart from that, it's...
But maybe that's the thing, maybe it's dragging more off the CPU.
Maybe. I mean, you've had an unpleasant experience when you started that I didn't.
Yes, the menu when I first loaded up the game took literally about 5 to 10 minutes to render the background scenery, and before that I couldn't select anything on the screen because that was the last thing. If you imagine the menu screen would bring up the scenery and then the menu comes in from the side or wherever, well, that menu coming in from the side would only happen when everything had popped in, and it was literally drawing fucking palettes of colour, then a bit more, and this lasted about 5 to 10 minutes, like I said, and I was literally sat there watching it thinking, please don't be like this the entire game, and it was, kind of.
Well, I mean, are you sure you didn't buy the Art Attack Special Edition?
It did feel like that. I expected Neil Buchanan to jump out at any moment. But yeah, so there's been mixed bag of kind of feelings about this game, really. I've had an okay time, and I don't think I'd recommend it in its current state or at its current price.
I have not had an okay time with it, which really disappoints me because I like this sort of subject matter. I like the fact that they're delving into trying to be realistic with medieval, but it's impacted the game mechanics so much that it stopped being fun for me very quickly. And I don't really want to slog through any more of the gameplay to see what happens next in the story, even though I'm interested in it.
Yeah, combat is janky. It doesn't feel satisfying. You've got so many bugs of people trying to walk through walls. You've even captured some of that. Might even be showing the footage behind us.
If you remember.
The story is good. The visuals are great. But certainly some of the choices in the menus just cut it down for me. So for me, it's a mark out of 10. I'm afraid this one's going to have to be a 5.
Ooh, that's interesting. I was going to go for a 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I'm giving it 5 because as much as I adore the visuals in this game, and I've probably said about 20 times, I don't think it's enough to warrant a good score. I mean, that's a fantastic achievement, but as a game, I expected so much more. The loading screens between conversations we didn't really mention.
No, but they're about
They take so long. It's just every time you want to do something, it takes loading screen to do it, and you're working against the game all the time. You're not working with it, and it's not an enjoyable thing for some periods when you're actually playing a game. So for me, it's a 5.
Yeah, I went slightly higher. I think I can respect their vision. I think they've done pretty much what they set out to do with the graphical limitations and technical limitations aside. I think they wanted to come out and make this hardcore RPG that really did a good job at putting you in the shoes of this peasant in Bohemia. Sorry, blacksmith, not peasant.
He was a peasant.
Well, it's kind of. But I think where they fell down is they didn't really think too much about the game. They're hanging on it. It felt very much like there was this
museum ride.
Yeah, they had this sword expert some years ago that was going to do this sword fighting game, and it feels like this is almost that. But it was so up its own arse about its own technique.
Was this like the Guitar Hero with a sword?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I really wanted that. Yeah,
but it was so focused on one area of it. It just never happened. It was just too focused in that one area. I think it's a similar problem here, where they've been very realistic and authentic with the setting and all the things that happen. And you have to drink and you can't eat spoiled food or there's food poisoning, all that sort of stuff. It's just sucked the fun out. So they've done what they wanted to do. It's just not a game for me.
No, yeah, there are more DLC for this game coming, and I wonder what that's going to do to it. And obviously, my score might actually change once I fully complete the story.
The laundry DLC.
Yeah. But I will see how it goes. Maybe I'll look at the DLC. Maybe we'll do that as but I'll do that as a separate one. But I will try and finish the game to get a kind of an overarching view and tie that in with the DLC when that comes out. I think it warrants time, but not, as I said, not at this price. Wait for it to come out in a Steam sale and get some money off. I would probably recommend this about sort of 10 to 15.
Yeah, I think I would go as high as 20 myself.
Yeah, okay. That's a push.
But what you do have to bear in mind as well, they are patching it a lot. We had a 5 gig patch drop yesterday, which is unfortunate because that's after I played it.
And that's on the 8th of March.
Yes. Is it?
Yesterday? No, 9th of March is yesterday.
I think it was yesterday it dropped, yeah.
But this is Saturday when we're shooting.
Yeah.
So.
So they are continuing to patch it, quite big patches. So they are obviously still working on making the game better. So, who knows? By the time it comes out in the sale, it might be a great game. You might get yourself a deal.
So we're talking about the release build, really, not the latest patch. Good point to make. So that's our views about Kingdom Come Deliverance. I maybe would have thought about a better name as well.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. KCD sounds like almost a Mexican dish.
No, that's better than Star Trek Discovery, as we found out.
Yes.
STD. Why would you do that?
Because reasons. Yeah. But that's our review of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Thank you for watching, guys, because it's always a pleasure to do these reviews for you, especially with games like this, which are a massive disappointment.
Well, for him, I wasn't really expecting.
Anyway.
There we go.
But guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget we have videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday.
And if you want to, you can like, comment and subscribe down below. And if you do subscribe, what can they do, Snare?
They can ding-a-ling the belly, which is down below, so you can be notified of any new videos that come out, which is important.
fair enough.
Yes, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.